Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. In today's most important news, the first story is about Islamabad DA Phase 5, where exactly 6 days ago, Colonel retired Ishaq Qazi and his 25-year-old daughter were swept away by flash floods. 3 days ago, meaning 3 days after they went missing, Colonel retired, Ishaq Qazi's body was found by the riverbank under a bridge. However, after 6 days, the body of his 25-year-old daughter and their car have still not been found anywhere in Islamabad or its surrounding areas. It's as if the sky swallowed them or the earth swallowed them, and no one has any information. Clearly a search operation was carried out, and helicopters were seen flying, while boats and ships were also observed moving. Now you may recall that in a previous vlog, I mentioned that the bodies of Colonel Qazi and his daughter were likely found. Yes, when Colonel Qazi's body was found 3 days ago, the media was told that both their bodies were found. It was officially reported that Colonel Qazi's body was found first, and a little further ahead, his daughter's body was located. However, later, it was revealed that this news was false or that the feed was manipulated. A lot more happened during this entire tragic event, which I will share with you. But for now, the situation is that, in the middle of Islamabad, first DHA took control of the flood areas and started plundering. After that, no protective measures were implemented around the drains. At the time when Colonel Qazi and his daughter were swept away and the media wanted to report on it, DHA blocked the media's entry to prevent reporting. The operation lasted for 6 days, with all state machinery being utilized, and after 6 days, what is the result? The result is that the operation seems to have been called off. This is not definitive, but the information I'm sharing comes from a senior journalist in Islamabad who told me that the news is that the operation has almost been ended, and after 6 days, the bodies of Colonel Ishaq Qazi, retired, and his daughter have still not been found, nor has their car been located. Now, the video is in front of you from the DHA Phase 5 area, where their car was swept away, and how far it could have gone. Of course, we have the latest technology, and it is said that just a few weeks ago, a tragic incident occurred in Swat, when an entire family was swept away. At that time, media friends were saying that some prominent personalities from the Chaudhry Nizamuddin family were requesting that this news be aired, showing the families suffering, and asking why the provincial government failed to save them. Back then, it was said that this should be done. Now, an interesting point is that when this tragedy occurred, very reliable sources from the media told us that the first thing that was said by Chaudhry Sahib was to downplay this news. Then they said to air it in a light way. Later, it was said that the news should not be aired too frequently. When you show their pictures repeatedly and mention them over and over, it causes distress to the family. Finally, they said not to mention DHA or Colonel's name at all, but you can still run the news. This is why we are not seeing much coverage about the daughter's case. If this tragedy had occurred elsewhere, and a 25-year-old girl's body was still missing, imagine the uproar it would have caused. But on Pakistani media, there seems to be complete silence. You must now understand the reason behind this. There's been some discussion on social media, which is why we are bringing this matter to your attention. But the shocking thing is that just a few days ago, DG ISPR was speaking with students and stated that if bodies were swept away by floods in Swat, then those responsible for the negligence should be held accountable. Here, people create chaos, spread unrest, and fail to govern. I think the speech was quite bold, but now we see that everything is happening in DHA, and Colonel Qazi's tragic incident is also related to DHA. Personally, it really upset me when I saw on social media that after the incident with Colonel Qazi and his daughter, many people in the midst of the political atmosphere used such derogatory language towards Colonel Qazi that it genuinely broke my heart. I thought, how much hatred people have towards each other, that even in the midst of such tragedies where daughters, death, happiness and sorrow are all the same, people have been so divided and hurt. You could say their capacity to feel grief is numb. Nevertheless, I would still request you all to understand that there is no doubt that illegal orders also come from higher authorities, and lower officers simply follow them. You may think that everyone is the same, but that is not true. I believe that if correct instructions are given from the top, the lower ranks will follow them. Therefore, the people who work at the lower levels, whether it's the military or any other institution, perform better when the environment and leadership are positive. But this is a very worrying situation, and I pray that Colonel Qazi's daughter's body is found soon. But this is a huge failure on many levels. On the other hand, we are discussing university operations and the foundations of new establishments. But our own daughter is missing, and we can't even find her body. Please think about the suffering of their family. Moving to the next story, it's equally grim, and it's coming from Mardan. It is being reported that between 200 and 600 Taliban have taken control of parts of Mardan. Now, I'm not saying full control, but they are roaming around in different areas of Mardan. This information was sent to me by a retired Major General of the Pakistani Army. It contains detailed military language, which leads me to believe it's either a briefing from an intelligence agency or from their own colleagues. This general is quite well known in Pakistan. According to the report, between 200 to 600 Taliban militants are active in Banu, and they are now trying to establish their own governance system. They are demanding taxes or extortion money from the local people, cutting trees and blocking roads, doing whatever they wish. This is our state of affairs right now. On the other hand, we've already informed you in a previous vlog about the situation on the border of Balochistan. Similarly, in District Khyber, gunshots were fired yesterday and the situation is ongoing. During this incident, the famous figure Shahid Afridi was caught in the crossfire. Yes, fortunately he wasn't physically harmed as he wasn't there, but he tweeted something about the incident. From my observation, I don't think Shahid Afridi is very well educated, though I'm not making a definitive statement. He himself can clarify, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me that he wouldn't be able to write such things himself. Similarly, Mariam Nawaz cannot write her own statements either. I think someone else must have written it for them, and the same applies to Shahid Afridi's tweet. He said in his tweet that the people killed in the firing were martyrs, but the public has criticised him for this. As we've seen from statements by Senator Mushtaq, Mina Khan Afridi and Iqbal Afridi, all of them, including former Senator Mushtaq, have stated that the firing came from military personnel. But Shahid Afridi seems to have made the wrong assumption. Ajmal Wali Khan has strongly criticised the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI government, and said that the provincial government has given forces a free licence to enter every house and violate public freedoms through the Action in Aid of Civil Power Act. In other words, he has blamed everything on the provincial government, although Ajmal Wali Khan himself is the one who, with the help of military generals, did not find anything here, so he changed his domicile from Balochistan and became a senator. However, it seems like he is not ashamed of this, and Ajmal Wali Khan is impervious to embarrassment. Pictures have surfaced of Major General Imran, who has become the new head of the Federal Constabulary. Recall that we told you earlier that the Frontier Constabulary's name was changed to the Federal Constabulary, and its jurisdiction has also been modified. Now it can operate in any province with the permission of the federal government, and the provincial government cannot interfere in its matters. In other words, if the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa wants to do something unlawful, now the Federal Constabulary can do that. This new amendment gives them that power. When the Frontier Constabulary was converted into the Federal Constabulary, the previous IG and Commandant were immediately removed overnight, and Major General Imran was appointed in their place. He was told that the previous performance was not good, but now they expect a better performance from him. He visited the injured yesterday, and pictures have been taken. You should closely observe these pictures. I think Major General Imran will become quite famous in the coming days, as he will be tasked with significant responsibilities across Pakistan. Once he begins his work, you will understand why he was brought here. So you need to take this news and him seriously and keep it in mind. Moving on, Mohammed Malik has given an analysis stating that the narrative of PTI has changed and it will be very difficult for PTI to lead a successful movement. He says that the leadership of the movement has been handed over to Salman Akram Raja, Umar Ayub, and Barrister Gohar by Imran Khan from jail. However, Barrister Gohar did not even retweet Imran Khan's harsh tweets. Malik's point is that since Imran Khan named 3 or 4 individuals to lead the movement, Barrister Gohar did not even retweet the harsh tweet, which means he didn't align himself with the movement. So how can he lead it? This is his analysis, and I'm presenting it to you. However, if you pay attention, I think the next news should be about Murray. In Murray, Nawaz Sharif, Mariam Nawaz, Shahbaz Sharif and Hamza Shahbaz have all gathered, and their meetings are ongoing. Shahbaz Sharif is staying somewhere else, while Nawaz Sharif and Mariam Nawaz are involved in some discussions. Regarding what is happening on a larger scale with Shahbaz Sharif, I feel that Nawaz Sharif might be planning something else. Or perhaps he wants to use the Field Marshal for something else. I also told you earlier that the Field Marshal's tenure is ending in October or November, after which he will retire and go home if he follows the Constitution. However, if he continues to act unconstitutionally after the 26th Amendment, he may stay for another 10 years, but his official tenure will have ended. Next, Ishaq Dar has given a strong reaction. You know there has been a lot of criticism about Afia Siddiqui's case. Dar also faced verbal firing over it. Just like when Shahid Afridi tweeted and people criticised him, the same thing happened with Ishaq Dar regarding Afia Siddiqui's 86-year prison sentence. Dar said that her sentence was absolutely fair and went through the due process, and therefore no one should object to Imran Khan's sentence either. This was his statement at the Atlantic Council sitting in the US. Later, the public reacted strongly on social media, and Dar perhaps didn't anticipate such a response. He then said that his English was correct, and if people did not understand it, that was their problem, not his. So he essentially blamed the public for not understanding English and insisted that he had said the right thing. A Pakistani team recently went to Germany for the World University Games. 2 athletes from Pakistan's contingent went missing. You may already know about this incident. They did not go to participate in the games, they ran away while at the stadium. They disappeared and broke the rules, which resulted in them being expelled from the tournament. Now, the Pakistan team could not participate because only 2 athletes managed to escape, and the others did not know the basic rules of the competition. This shows that the entire system set up by the Field Marshal is failing. On one side, Mohsin Naqvi is in charge, and this whole setup has been failing in various departments. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.